Alright, so today we're tearing into these exit blocks to clean them up and rebuild them. We already knew the sheaves and axles needed to be replaced, but getting these things apart, that's where the real work started. Once we finally got them broken down, Shawn walks through what we're working with and how he's going to rebuild these.
Okay, so change of course. Those are not going to come out. They are, looks like 1/4 inch or better, maybe 5/16 stainless steel axles that were hammer forged into place or pressed into place, and they are so frozen up in that plate that I would have to drill them out, which is fine because they're oversized for what I was hoping to do with them. So I'm actually probably going to prep all these plates, and then I will TIG, just spot TIG those areas, grind it flat, and then I'll just re-drill it the way that I want it to be. So I will try to find the best of all these parts and do dimensional drawings of them, and then that way I'll have something to go from, and then we'll just recreate the wheel. Again, if I spend all afternoon and all day tomorrow rebuilding these things, it's costing me my time. It's still going to be the same amount of materials. So honestly, I'm still points ahead because, you know, for I'd say $100 to fix these things, but it's not even going to be that. I mean, I'm probably going to have 30, 40 bucks maybe in the whole thing. That's a hell of a lot cheaper than $1,200. So we'll get back to it.
So before anything gets made, it starts right here. Just taking the time to measure and plan it out. Now this part right here, he'll tell you, TIG welding's not really his thing. But sometimes you just do what you've got to do.
Spend half my time welding and the other half my time fixing the shit that I did when I welded. At least with TIG anyway. MIG I'm reasonably okay with, but TIG is still very new to me. So I'm figuring it out. Well, I think it's safe to say, I think it is safe to say, there's no professional TIG welders out there that should be worried about their jobs. TIG welding is a totally different beast for me, something I had never done prior to this, and honestly, it's a lot of fun. I see the potential in it. It's just going to take me a while longer before I'm doing pretty decorative stuff. I have to learn how to quit blowing the edge out of stuff prior to that. So I'll try to do a little bit of fill in on these things, see if I can clean them up just a little bit. I have a lot of decorative stainless that I do need to do around the boat, handrails and crap like that, stanchion bases, so I'm really trying to get the hang of this shit so I can get that done. All right, I'm starting to get the hang of this shit finally. I think. We'll find out. All right, better. Still not perfect, but better.
We had a little trouble with the sound through here, but this is where it all starts coming together. He's turning new axles out of brass and making new sheaves to fit.
Well, in usual fashion, I got caught up in the moment and neglected to film the final assembly, but I mean, essentially this is what you've got. These, you know, I've turned these down. These pins were turned down, created an axle and peened that. You know, brass doesn't exactly peen over the easiest, so I did center bore those so that they'd mushroom over a little bit better, but they're pretty tight, but I mean, they spin. So I anticipate that once they're under load, that they will loosen up a little bit. This Delrin will wear down some. And so anyway, this is the one that I need to polish that up, but that's the one with the side that I had to make. But again, some of those rivet jobs look a little bit cleaner than others, but nobody gives a shit because all this stuff that you see here, all that's going to be inside the mast. All you're going to see is that faceplate and the pulley. So anyway, that's 4 of those done. The boys were here this weekend and man, were they off the chain. Grandkids, they're usually pretty good, and they were wildcats this weekend. Had my nerves shot. I'm definitely not wired for little kids anymore. I sure raised a bunch of them though. Anyway, so yeah, get this stuff cleaned up and put up, and then spend some time with Jena tonight and probably start pondering how I'm gonna build these doors, what joint style I'm gonna use, what design, and then of course what jam design I'm gonna use. So I think that pretty much wraps up that little project. The booms, as you know, are done, ready to go back over. They may or may not get over there before Dave gets here. And then Jena's mom comes, I think, the week after that, after they go back. So anyway, try to get this wrapped up and yeah, cleaned up, wrapped up, and ready to go again for tomorrow, so I can start laying out doors and start milling all the door hardware, or the door parts, I should say. All right, so these are the mast exits. These are 2 of them. There's one on the other side, and then there's one on the mizzen. And effectively, these are just here to protect the halyards when they come out, to guide them, keep them from dragging across these edges. And all I'm doing here is just cleaning a little bit of the old crap, the old sealant off of here. These need to be back in, like I said, just to protect the halyards for now, until we get out on the hard and start doing that work. And these are a little bit sloppy, so ultimately what'll happen is I'm not going to do it now, because again, we've got a lot of work that has to be done on these masts. But what I'll ultimately end up doing when I put these back in is either rivet them, or I'll drill them over to a 1/4-20. Because these, again, these holes are fairly worn out, and a lot of that is from that corrosion. These holes get wobbled out, you know, because it's effectively, that corrosion is almost like a burning, and it burns away the metal, and in doing that, it wobbles the hole out. And again, these are just 1024 by 3/4, which is probably a little longer than I need, but that's okay. They won't come out past this housing, which is all that matters. I just don't want it where it could snag on something. But these are 1024 by 3/4 stainless, and these are what are called pan head. Look at that. It's almost like it came out of here originally. Haha. But this, for probably $25, saved us $1,200 by rebuilding these. General idea. Again, I guess the takeaway from this situation is if you estimate something's going to take 20 minutes, block 2 days and have a contingency for a third, because that's probably how it's going to go. That's boat work. All right, well, that's that for now.